Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam. Palantir is adjusting its strategy for major growth by launching Foundry for Builders. And in this video, we're going to talk about why it's so important for Palantir's growth. I'm going to show you how this can lead Palantir to revenues of $4 billion annually, and how Palantir can do it in just over a year's time. And lastly, we're going to dive into Palantir's stock chart and share support resistance levels and where to set your stock alerts. And if you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know Palantir is a high conviction stock for me. While I always try to show both sides of any story, whether good or bad, I understand I have my own biases, just like everyone else. And after watching this video, make sure to do your own research and due diligence. Never go into any investment blindly off of an opinion from some dude on YouTube. Now, before we get into this, I need you to do 3 simple things. Smash the like button, share this video with your friends, and click subscribe to join our family of investors. Those 3 actions are greatly appreciated, and they help out the channel with YouTube's algorithm. Now, this development for Palantir is very bullish for the stock long term. It shows the company's continued focus on developing its Foundry product. And since this product is a one-of-a-kind on the market, it gives Palantir the first mover advantage as well as a massive competitive advantage. This is an evergreen market with massive growth potential for Palantir. And the extra benefit that Palantir has is the steady and solid revenue from its Gotham product. Now, last quarter, Palantir had 149 customers driving $341 million in revenue, with about 60% of revenue coming from its Gotham product for government contracts, creating an imbalance. Now, both revenue sources were up year over year, but the pandemic helped Palantir grow its government segment at a much quicker pace, 79% year over year, much faster than its commercial segment at 19% year over year. This imbalance of government contracts, which are very lucrative for Palantir, has long been criticized by some investors. But now, in a dramatic shift in strategy, Palantir is pursuing startups with its program Foundry for Builders. Palantir will sell its software on a monthly subscription model to smaller companies. Yes, monthly subscription model. And just a quick side note on that. Companies that have a monthly subscription model have been shown to skyrocket revenue. Now, they'll be starting with a handful of startups connected to former Palantir employees who are already familiar with how Palantir software works. That way, Palantir can implement a feedback loop to refine the product for startups before rolling it out to a broader market, which it plans to do in the coming months. This is a brilliant move by Palantir, as they need to diversify their sources of revenue away from just a handful of juicy government contracts. Now, Palantir is growing its government segment at a double-digit pace. So, if Palantir wants its commercial segment to catch up, and believe me, they do and I do, and I'm sure you do as well, they're going to have to push this new initiative hard and fast. Foundry for Builders is starting with 5 startups in fields ranging from robotics to healthcare and even fintech. The group of startups will explore Palantir's software that functions like an operating system for company data. Foundry for Builders aims to counteract Palantir's revenue imbalance by adding a larger number of potential fast growing companies to Palantir's customer base. Developing closer relationships with early stage companies appears to have been an increasing focus in recent months for Palantir. Besides expanding revenues from startups, Palantir has also been investing in them. Palantir recently made a series of direct investments in companies going public through SPACs, totaling more than $130 million. All of these companies are also customers of Palantir. Palantir's COO said the benefits of selling software to startups became clear to the company because of its investing efforts. Palantir realized these small companies are all ambitious, nimble, and have a need for the best software at the start of their journey. Foundry for Builders will help companies develop an internal operating system for their data so they can focus on delivering their unique value proposition. Astrocast, a Swiss satellite company, is the most recent addition to Palantir's growing portfolio. Astrocast received $5 million from Palantir in mid July as part of a $50 million round at a $125 million valuation, led by Addit Ventures, also a longtime Palantir investor. Astrocast, which is also a Palantir customer, plans to go public through a direct listing on the Oslo Stock Exchange and expects to begin trading in August of 2021 this year. This is just one example of many on how Palantir's investment in startups can pay off in multiple ways. Oh, and don't forget about Palantir's other new initiative called Palantir Unlock. It's designed specifically for unlocking a company's siloed enterprise data from legacy systems and proprietary data models, translating it into human readable objects and delivering it to its clients in an open source format. Now, Palantir is building a solid moat around its business. And to make that moat wider, Palantir must grow the commercial segment as fast as its government segment. So, what would Palantir look like as a company if they succeeded with that goal? Well, let's say Foundry for Builders takes off and becomes the catalyst that sets off their commercial growth. First, let's look at Q1 data by Business Quant. For commercial revenue, came in at $133 million, up 19% year over year. The government segment, $208 million, up 76% year over year. As you can see, Palantir's Gotham product is a real hit with its government clients. Now, let's go back to that Foundry growth catalyst I mentioned earlier. And let's say growth rates for both segments, commercial and government, Foundry and Gotham, are at 72%. In 1 year, the quarterly data would look like this. The commercial segment, $229 million. The government segment, $358 million. At a 72% growth rate, Palantir's quarterly revenue would reach $1 billion in just about 1.4 years. That's $4 billion annualized. This is why commercial growth for Palantir is so important. To wrap this up, Palantir is a high growth company focused on building out its Foundry product. Last year, though, its Gotham product grabbed a lot of government contracts. Now, Palantir is making its boldest ever leap into the much larger private sector market. Up until today, Palantir's commercial revenue has lagged behind its government revenue, both in amounts and in growth rates. But now, with Foundry for Builders, Palantir has the opportunity to partner with early stage tech startups and see its revenue growth as the companies scale. It's an exciting opportunity. There's one last thing we need to look at, and that's Palantir's stock chart. Palantir has had a wild ride since going public last fall, with a crazy run up at the end of January, reaching an all time high of $45. Then a fall to a low of $16.34 on May the 11th. A great buy the dip opportunity that I totally took advantage of. Then we had a nice extended rally until the end of June. But the July downtrend has finally stalled to this period of consolidation that we find ourselves in right now. Palantir is trading in a very narrow range of about $21.25 support and $22.75 resistance. Now, the best way to take advantage of this consolidation opportunity is to set a stock alert for $21, maybe even go as low as $20. And anytime the stock falls below that point, and there's got to be two things here, and RSI, Relative Strength Index, shows an oversold reading. And when the RSI is below 30, that's considered oversold. So when those two conditions are met, you can start a position or grow your position if you believe in the growth story for Palantir. Now, Palantir is one of my top 5 highest conviction stocks. And to be transparent, it is also one of my top 5 holdings. So, what do you think about Palantir's odds at growing Foundry's product in the private sector? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you've watched till the end, you, my friend, are totally awesome. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.